3 reasons to use a living trust. We're just going to go through 3 here real quick. It's a great article from thefool.com. I want to elaborate on it a little bit, so let's check this out. Dateline August 29, 2023. So today's August 31st, my 24th wedding anniversary. I just tell my youngest, Liam, today, it's like for 23 of those 24 years, we had kids. So basically for 23 of those 24, that means for only 2 months were we sans children. Because when a woman is pregnant, that is a baby. It's not a fetus. It's a baby, a real live, living human being baby. Should not be aborted. So we've had children in our lives for 23 years and 10 months of our 24 years together. We made it happen pretty quickly, dude. We got married, and less than a year later, out comes number 1. Yeah, we made it happen. All right, we're frisky, not as frisky as we used to be. Well, I am. Someone else isn't. Don't tell her I said that. My wife is so freaking hot, dude. She got a haircut today, and she's like, I just like, dude, you don't know how freaking just. I mean, my AI wife, of course. You've never seen her. I said, man, you get more. Oh man, I cannot believe I'm married to this woman for 24 years. That she still has me. It's nuts to me. Freaking smart. She's just. Let's say a prayer real quick. Oh, Heavenly Father, I just thank you for the women, the wives, the moms, the sisters, who just led men on a straight and narrow. Yes, there are many women who've led men astray, I grant you. But Lord, just this prayer, I just thank you for the women who've led us on the straight and narrow. Led us to peace. Led us to relax. And I'm just so grateful for my wife in 24 years. And here's for another 24 years to come. I pray in Jesus' name, amen. I know there are people who've had bad marriages. I get it 100%. Look, I got, real quick, when I was managing a bar, some chick walked. She was with a bunch of law students at American University, because my bar was in right over the Key Bridge from D.C. in Arlington, and they were smoking in the non-smoking area. I said, you can't smoke in here. You got to smoke. Literally, there's non-smoking areas just right there, and they wouldn't move. I was like, there's like 15 of them, and I just go smoke over there. I mean, it's just literally, it's like right there. It's just through. No, there's no one else. I said, you can't. Anyway, so I was like, I can't serve you any more alcohol if you're going to, sit here. And it was a Sunday night. It was empty. It's just, because we was usually pretty empty on Sunday night. Just go smoke there. And I said, I'm not going to serve you any more alcohol if you don't smoke. And one of the girls jumped up and got in my face and pushed me against the wall. And was like, do you know who I am? A law student at American University. We're going to, I was like, you guys got to leave, man. Just leave. Anyway, I can't remember if they paid the bill or not. I can't remember. But it was a pretty big bill, a couple $100. Anyway, about an hour later, the cops come down and arrest me. They arrested me. So that's why you arrested me? They said, because I punched the girl. I said, what? I didn't even touch her. She hit me. Couldn't believe it. And I spent that night in the whatever the pen there. It's not, the prison, whatever the little county jail is. And I mean, I had to sell my record label collection to, which I had freaking hundreds of 12-inch records, all kinds of stuff, dude. And to afford a lawyer to defend me. And then, we had moved to Phoenix by then, and then I had to come back to Arlington, the Arlington County Courthouse, right on, I think it was Clarendon on Courthouse Road or whatever it's called. And the chick never even shows up. So they just dismissed the case. Couldn't believe it, man. So, I mean, look, I know if there's men out there who've been, abused by, I get it. It goes both ways. It's just for crocodile tears. That's why I hated that Me Too thing and that Lena Dunham crap, just fake. I hate that crap. But for me personally, and for a lot of people I talk to, not all the people, but a lot of people I talk to, we've had a wife that's been just a glorious thing to us. And I couldn't be more happy, man. That's crazy. The older I get, the happier I am. It's nuts. When you're younger and a young man, you're thinking the grass is greener. It ain't, dude. It tells me, man. You got to hang in there. You You got to hang in there. Look, and don't cheat. Whatever you do not cheat on your wife. That's you can't do that, man. All right. Sorry, my hair's a mess. All right. And let's go to this. 5 minutes in, you haven't even talked about the living trust yet. That's Josh, man. That's Josh. 3 reasons to seriously consider using a living trust to pass an inheritance to your family. They keep assets out of probate. They offer flexibility to continue using your wealth before you die. They keep sensitive docs out of the public spotlight. That's a big one that gets overlooked. That's a big deal. All right. If you're on the, there are some. A will is a legal document that lays out your final wishes of the if you die intestate, that means you have no will. A testator. I don't even know how you say that word. Testator. And names an executor or executrix to carry out those instructions after your passing. Probate is a court-supervised process of distributing assets after someone dies. Living trusts make it easier to transfer the assets to your beneficiaries without going through probate. But remember, just real quick, a living trust just written on a piece of paper doesn't mean anything. You have to have assets titled. By the way, get my newest book. You have to have assets titled in the trust. If you have $1 million brokerage account at Schwab titled Josh and Charlotte Joint Tenants with Rights of Survivorship, the trust has nothing to do with it. It has to be. That's called an unfunded trust. The trust has to have assets in it. You have to retitle the asset, that brokerage account, into your trust. You got to retitle your home into your trust. All right, it's not. I mean, a home's kind of pain in the ass. You got to go down the county, but the retitling an asset brokerage account is easy to do. All right, but anyway, an IRA cannot be titled into a trust. Now, there are things called trustees IRAs, and that's okay, but generally they're not very common. I mean, you can do it. That's the fee's pretty heavy on there. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan. But anyway, an IRA in of itself cannot be titled into your living trust. Again, there is something called a trustee IRA that I'm not going to get into here. They're not very common, and I don't think it's beneficial to most people. But there are cases where it's beneficial. Maybe I'll do another video on that at some point. Generally speaking, don't want to leave your IRA to your trust, generally speaking. Now, there's reasons to do a trust, and that's essentially your beneficiaries are going to receive the benefit at your death. And maybe they're not up to snuff. Maybe they're meth heads. Maybe they like the New York Yankees, and maybe they're married to a clown. Your daughter's married to a freaking clown who voted for Joe Biden. And you're like, I don't want him getting my daughter my money. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different reasons to name a trust as your beneficiary. But if your kids are on the up and up and there's no issues there, just leave. I mean, look, I can't tell you legal stuff, but generally speaking, a lot of times it's fine just to leave it to them. And by the way, an IRA beneficiary designation avoids probate anyway. Get your IRA beneficiary designation. I did a video on this a couple months ago. There's no excuse not to have beneficiaries on your IRAs and 401ks and all that stuff. All right, part 2 of this. Living trusts are legal documents, but they are not public information. Probate records use public records. Again, what is probate? It's a public proving of your will. You hear that? Public. Your will is being public. I'm going to show you this video I did. So the three real things are: a living trust can keep assets out of probate. That's true. They offer flexibility. You're the grantor. You can change the trust. As a living trust, you can change it until you're dead. And once you're dead, you can't. And then it becomes irrevocable. And that's always a challenge, but you can change the trust. You can do whatever you want with it. It's still your money, still flows back to you on your 1040. It's very flexible. And then they keep sensitive documents out of the public spotlight because, again, probate is a public proving of your will. So I did this video literally 5 years ago. This right here. Look at your old buddy. Look how young I was then. Your old buddy Josh right there. Aretha Franklin had no will. Got all of 610 views. August 26, 2018. Your old buddy Josh. Look at that. So young. So handsome. So sharp. Oh, Josh. Look at me now. Old man. Old fogey. So we're going to read this. She had an $80 million estate when she died. There will be an estate tax of nearly $25 million. But secondly, and this is the article I'd written, is that she is a very private person, and now because she died with no documents in her estate, it's intestate, meaning there is no will. Unfortunately, the reference article doesn't make a distinction between a trust and will comes with estate being public. The estate being a public record. Remember, folks, probate is simply the public proving of your will. Even if Aretha Franklin had a will, probate would get involved and the transfer assets would be available for all to see. If you want your estate to remain private, you need trust and beneficiary designations so they avoid probate. A living trust transfers outside of probate and thus is hidden from the journalists at the Detroit Free Press and other places. Right? But a living trust would not have saved Miss Franklin's estate from paying the $25 million of estate tax, because living trusts are part of your estate, same as anything else you own. Always remember, whatever you do, don't die without at least a will. So even if she had a will, the Detroit Free Press, which did the article of who's going to get her money, is a pretty messed up estate documentation situation. It's still been public, but if she had everything in a trust, she still had to pay the estate tax, but at least it would have been avoiding probate and avoiding the prying eyes of the Detroit Free Press. And I got a comment here. I'll never forget this lady. Let's see, because I remember she got really, really not happy with your old buddy Josh. Let's see if I can't find the comments. Hold on. Here's the article from the Detroit Free Press, and let's see if you can click on that, see if it still opens up. Let's see, it might be blank now. Yeah, Aretha Franklin right there. Left no will or trust, court records show, and it kind of tells you, I think like her cousin or something like that got was going to get the money, or her nephew. Humble trader, he doesn't follow me anymore. I remember him. It seems to me that moving assets into a trust would result in a lot of extra paperwork each year. No, that's not true. No, it's pretty easy to do. What did I say? Depends on what kind of trust it is. A living trust? No, easy. A revocable trust? Yes. A irrevocable trust, you're not the grantor. You're the grantor, but you're not the trustee. And as such, you got to file a separate 1041 tax forms. One issue with trust, the recipients of distributions no longer get a step-up basis. She didn't write respect. That late Otis Redding wrote it and sung before she immortalized it. Okay, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Thanks for the heads up. There's Savvy and Lady. Let's see. Can you add the link to Beyond the Grave book in the notes, please? Or have I did put it in there. But who cares? These videos about the women's affairs are no. That's right. This lady, this person, Ford Built Soft. Who cares? These videos about this woman's affairs are nobody's damn business. I feel bad for these celebrities. Yeah, well, she could have. But if you did care, you can now look up her stuff up. That's the point. Most people don't care and will simply move on. Some do now have access to a more personal financial documentation, like the news thing. Anyway, so this guy said assets and trust. Let's see here. Beneficiaries of living trust don't get a step up. I hadn't heard that. Doesn't mean it's not true. I just hadn't heard. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't. I'm not sure if assets in a living trust don't get a step up. I don't think that's actually correct. But whatever. I mean, you look that up or talk to your attorney. I don't think that's true. Anyway, the point about a living trust is it manages your assets from your grave. So if you got a kid that's, again, that's in a bad place, or you got a kid, we want to protect your estate from creditors and predators and in-laws and outlaws. So we don't want the creditors getting your assets. We don't want your predators, your wife's, freaking clown husband who voted for Bo Biden. We don't want your second wife's children to get your stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you want to make sure that only people you want to get your money gets your money. That's what a living trust can do, without question. A beneficiary designation, I'm giving my money to Charlotte. Charlotte could take it and run off with the freaking Bo Biden voter. Can't have that happen. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want that to happen, a living trust is the way to go. So you want to protect your assets. You don't want your kids to smoke it up their nose or anything like that. So living trust is a good thing to have, generally speaking, for some people. For other people, it's just not, in my opinion, it's not worth it. But again, you still need to start. Every living trust is still going to be accompanied with a will. You're still going to have this thing. A lot of times it'll be a pour-over will where they're going to have a trust open via their will. And that I never quite understood that. I mean, because the will goes through probate, and then the probate court opens a trust. That seems to defeat kind of the purpose. So generally speaking, if you're going to have a pour-over will, just have the freaking trust set up to begin with. But again, I'll leave that for you and your attorney. But living trust is a pretty good thing. I got a couple of books I like on living trust and estate plans, which are in that Aretha Franklin video, which I'll link in the show notes. It'd be cool to see if we can get more than 600 views. That's why I only had less than, I think that was right about when I started getting monetized in late August 2020, 2018. I think that's right when I started getting monetized. So it's crazy how long ago that was. But 5 years, dude. You underestimate what you can accomplish in 3 to 5 years, and you overestimate what you can accomplish in a year. Just always remember that. And be kind to your women, because without women, we got no kids. That's all there is to it. Let's keep in our pants, boys. All right, let's respect the women. Let's keep in our pants, and that way we don't need abortion. Just wait till you get married and have a child the way it's supposed to be, and have another one and another one and another one. Pump them out, man. We need to pump them out. And the people who do that is going to be your wife. Respect her at all costs. All right, we'll see you. Love to hear your thoughts.